So we are in the lesson natural resources, land, soil and water. So in that we have come to the soil part. So in that we have come to the soil part. Okay, children. So today we will be learning about the factors which influence the type of soil and the types of soil we will be learning today. As soon as the lesson gets over, we will be revising the content of the lesson also. Fine, children. So let's continue with the lesson without wasting the time because we have to complete lot of lessons. Okay. So let's start.
Okay.
So here you can see flora, fauna and microorganisms. As I have told you, just few seconds, children.
Okay, ma'am.
So as I have told you till it gets ready, as I have told you, see, there are different factors which influence the type of the soil, like the climate, okay, all like, see the physiographic divisions of the place. Okay, see here, flora, fauna and microorganisms. So as I have told you, there are a lot of factors which influence the type of soil. So here, living things influences soil fertility. Even the living things also, apart from all the natural like climate, weather condition, the factors, physiographic division factors, apart from all that, these living organisms also, living things also influence the soil fertility. Because living things within soil, because we have seen that there are earthworms and some other leeches or so many things are there inside the earth, okay, inside the soil, we can say that. So within soil can increase the fertility and aeration of a soil and prevent soil erosion. Okay, so these living organisms which are inside the soil sometimes help the soil to prevent the soil erosion. Because here some examples are given. Earthworms help to aerate soil by moving about it. Earthworms help to aerate soil by moving about it. And insect larvae burrow through soil and create air spaces for plant roots. So water can collect in these burrows and keep soil moist. Okay, so they make the holes, and through the holes, the water can go inside so that the roots will get the water, so the roots can hold the soil tightly. So this prevents the soil erosion. And here the final one, fungi and bacteria are nutrients by decomposing dead material. So there are a lot of fallen leaf, twigs, branches, and the dead animals or insects. All these are there. So these fungi and bacteria help to decompose all those materials and take as an organic matter for the soil. Okay. So see, you can see some worms and earthworms. All these are there. So this type of roots. So here, if you see, you can see the trees having roots, but soil erosion occurred in that place. So all these can be prevented by these living organisms. So this is also kind of a burrowing animal, you know that. So let us see the soil types found in India. By looking at the picture itself, you would have seen these kind of colored soil in various places. Yes, when we walk or when we go to
Yes, ma'am.
village side, or yes, you need not say it, ma. Please mute your mic. You can, when I ask you the doubts, you can say at that time. So these kind of soils you would have seen in mostly in village side you can see, because in towns and cities all the mud areas were like roads were laid in all the mud areas, so we cannot see the soil in all the places. Very rarely we can see. Okay, so these are the kinds of soil we have. Let us see what are all these kinds of soil. So we have, on the basis of the factors responsible for the formation of the soil, texture, color, and structure, the types of the soils are divided into 6 types. That is alluvial soil, red soil, black soil, laterite soil, desert soil, and mountain soil. Alluvial soil, red soil, black, laterite, desert, mountain. Okay. So you have learnt about all these types of soils earlier, but anyhow, we have to learn in this lesson because we are learning about the natural resources. So let us see about the soils one by one now. First one, the alluvial soil, it is mostly widespread in India, wherever like it is also considered as the fertile soil. You can see the color of the soil and is used for agricultural purpose also. Okay, so mostly it is used for agricultural purpose, and it is all formed by the alluvial deposits of various rivers. Okay, it is all formed. Alluvial soil is formed by the deposits of the rivers by Ganga, Brahmaputra, Indus, and all the peninsular rivers. Peninsular rivers means our South Indian rivers, Kaveri, Krishna, Godavari. Okay, all these rivers, Narmada, Tapti. So near the rivers, these deposits are there. These deposits are turned into alluvial soil. So here, that's what is given here. When the rivers flows down from the mountains, it carries a lot of silt in it. Silt means all the broken materials or the fallen material, anything. Okay, eroded materials or whatever it is. So the water collects minerals and other materials on the way. Wherever it flows, it collects all the materials because of the speed of the river. And when the speed of the river is slow, all the materials, whatever is carried, is getting deposited in that place. Okay, it's getting deposited in one place, and especially in the river banks. Okay, so delta areas, when the deposits are there, when the rivers deposit all the silt materials, deltas are formed over there, where it is all near the mouth of the rivers. Near the mouth of the rivers. What is meant by mouth of the river? Whether river has mouth? No. The mouth of the river means a place where the river water join into the sea. So that time the speed of the river will be very slow. Okay, because it is a flat region, totally like almost 80% of the flat region. So the river cannot flow very fast. It won't have the speed. So what happens? It like it deposit all the silt and debris, whatever it carries. So that place is called the mouth of the river. Here, characteristics of alluvial soil. This is a very fertile soil, and these contain adequate proportion of potash, phosphoric acid, and lime. Okay, so it contains adequate proportion of potash, phosphoric acid, and lime, which is ideal for the cultivation of. Ideal means which is suitable for the cultivation of sugarcane, paddy, wheat, and other cereals and pulse. Okay, and it has high fertility. The soil is of high fertility. Because of that, these regions are intensively cultivated and densely populated. So uh, these fertile soils, okay, in these fertile soils we can grow a lot of crops, and because of that people started doing started growing more amount of crops in that particular alluvial soil. So more people also started living in that area, because you know very well that in India agriculture is very important. Agriculture is the main occupation. Okay, agriculture is the main occupation, especially in northern parts of India or nearby the rivers. In most of the villages, people do the agriculture. Fine. So that is why wherever they do the agriculture, the population is more. In India, we have the northern plains, which covers Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Punjab, Haryana. All these places are covered by the northern plains, and that northern plain gets water throughout the year, and because of that, okay, Because of that, that land is fertile, so more people are living in that area. More people are living in that area. Next one, let us see about the distribution of alluvial soil. What is meant by distribution of alluvial soil? That is where it is found. Distribution means where these alluvial soils are found in India. They occur all along the Indus, Ganga and Brahmaputra plains. Okay, that is northern plains, except in few places where the top layer is covered by desert sand. So even in North India, that Rajasthan and few parts of Gujarat and nearby places are covered by desert sand. So that areas won't have any fertile soil. Okay, and not only that, they are found in the deltas of Mahanadi. Delta means the place which are watered by that particular river. Okay, deltas Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri, where they are called deltaic alluvium. These alluvial soils are called deltaic alluvium, or it is otherwise called as coastal alluvium. And some alluvial soils are found in Narmada River, Tapi valleys and northern parts of Gujarat. So I have told you, some parts of Gujarat. So only northern parts of Gujarat we can find these alluvial soil, not in all parts of Gujarat. Yes, so these are the distribution of alluvial soil. Distribution means where these alluvial soils are found. So let us see the next one. Here alluvial soil is divided into Bangar soil and Khadar. Two words you have to learn, Bangar and Khadar. Okay, on the basis of their age. Older alluvial soil, newer alluvial soil, or older alluvium, newer alluvium. That is why it is named as Bangar and Khadar on the basis of their age. On the basis of their age. So, age means which was deposited earlier and recently deposited place. So, let us see that here Bangar soil and Khadar soil. Bangar is the largest part of the northern plain and is composed of the oldest alluvial soil. Happened long back. Deposits happened long back. So it is called as the oldest alluvial soil, where it is found in the northern parts of India. And this oldest alluvial soil is called Bangar. Okay, and the floodplains formed by younger alluvium are called Khadar. Or we can say that newer alluvium, newly deposited places. Newly deposited places. And Bangar, if you see, they lie above the floodplains and they resemble terraces. It looks like terraces. Terrace forming, step forming you would have seen. So it looks like that terraces. And here Khadar soil, in this region, it is renewed every year and is highly fertile. Renewed every year means whenever flood occurs, the top layer of the soil is washed away and again newer deposits will be there. So that is why it is given as every year it is renewed. Every year it is renewed. And here Bangar soil, the soil of this region is locally known as Kankar and is composed of calcareous deposits. Okay. And here Khadar soil, this is suitable for intensive agricultural activities. So what you have to understand is there are two types of alluvial soil, Bangar soil and Khadar soil. Bangar soil is older alluvium and Khadar soil is newer alluvium. Okay. So these two differences, if you know, that is enough. And the next one is Bangar soil lie above the floodplain and they resemble terraces. Here Khadar soil in the region is renewed every year and is highly fertile. Okay, children, I hope that you have understood about this alluvial soil. Next one, let us see about the black soil. It is given as a black soil because it looks black in color. We know very well that these deposits, okay, this black soil, it is because of the volcanic activity. Yes, it is because of the volcanic activity. So let us see about it. You can see how the soil is formed. Here, it is also known as regur soil. This point everybody should know. This is also known as regur soil, R-E-G-U-R. Regur means cotton. So this black soil is very much suitable for growing cotton That is why it is given, the name is given as Reger soil. Reger means cotton. Okay. So most of the Deccan, okay, most of the Deccan is occupied by black soil. Deccan means the Deccan plateau is occupied by the black soil. It has high water retaining capacity because after it absorbs the water, it swells and will become sticky when wet and shrink when dry. Okay, so when it absorbs the water, it gets swells, and after that, so it becomes sticky. Yes, so self-ploughing is a characteristics of the black soil as it develops wide cracks when dry. It itself does the ploughing, they are telling, because after it becomes dried, what happens? It develops the crack. So again, when the water goes inside, again, what happens? It swells and then it absorbs that water and it has the water retaining capacity. So it does its self-ploughing. Okay. Then it is rich in iron, lime, calcium, potassium, aluminum, and magnesium. Black soil is rich in iron, lime, calcium, potassium, aluminum, and magnesium. But it is deficient means less in nitrogen, phosphorus, and organic matter. It is deficient in nitrogen, phosphorus, and organic matter. The color of the black soil is deep black to light black. Deep black to light black.
White, black.
Okay, let us see the red soil. It is red soil. It is because it is red in color. You would have seen this red soil. Okay.
Bama ma'am, unmute yourselves, ma'am. Bama ma'am. Bama ma'am, unmute ma'am. Your voice is not heard. Bama ma'am, can you hear me? Bama ma'am.
Why it's happening, ma'am? It is my mic is on only.
Yeah, no. I just muted all the children because they were talking. That's why even yours got
Yes, ma'am.
unmuted. Yes, ma'am. Now it's okay, ma'am.
Okay,
Thank you.
ma'am.
Thank
Now
you.
is it audible, ma'am?
Continue,
Okay,
ma'am.
yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. Thank you.
So this red soil we can see mainly in the low rainfall area. Okay, because you know very well that have you ever walked on the red soil? It will be very sticky. That also you would have seen. Yes. So it is also known as omnibus group. It is also known as omnibus group. The names are different only, maybe sometimes funny, but these names are given. We have to know about it. So the characteristics of the red soil is it is porous and friable in structure. Porous means when it is dried, when we pour it, it will pour. Okay. So it pours freely. That is why it is called what? Porous and friable in structure. Absence. Absence means deficient. Okay. So absence of lime, concur, and impure calcium carbonate is there. Then it is a deficient in, that's what is given, lime, phosphate, manganese, nitrogen, humus, and potash. The color is red because of the ferric acid. Okay, ferric acid, it is due to the content of iron. Okay, it is due to the content of iron. The soil is red in color, it is also because of the presence of iron. When iron is present in that soil, iron means iron rod is not present over there, mixture of iron is present over there. You know very well that when it is mixed with water or when it is treated with water, what happens? The iron will get rusted. So when the iron will get rusted, it turns into some kind of brownish red color or sometimes even red color too. So, and because of that, the soil looks red in color. That is why it is given as ferric oxide. When iron is treated with water, it is called ferric oxide. Okay. Yes, ferrum. You have learned, I think. And texture sandy to clay and loamy. Wheat, cotton, pulses, tobacco, oil seeds, potato. These are the crops which can be cultivated in this soil, but it is very much suitable for, it is suitable for plants also. Okay, flowering plants. Let us see the forest soil. So we have not created any soil. According to the place where it is found and the content of the soil, the different names are given. So let us see about what is forest soil. Here, forest soils are formed in the forest areas where sufficient rainfall is available. Because we know very well forest areas gets lot of rainfall, and because of that only in the forest the trees are growing on its own. We need not water any plants or any crops. Forest areas gets rainfall automatically, so lot of trees grown in that area. Yes, so soil vary in structure and texture depending on the mountain environment where they are found. So even some of the forests, we have mountain forest, we have desert, so near the desert also we have some forest, near the rivers we have forest. So it depends on the place where they are found. So according to the type of the forest, the type of the soil also differs. Okay, so they are loamy, silty on the valley sides and coarse grained in the upper slope. Like, have you ever seen near the rivers or near the mountainous areas, some of the hilly areas, the soils are smaller pieces, like we can say that it's like grains. Okay, manal manala kallu kalla irukum. So these are called what? Grains, coarse grained in the upper slopes. In the snow-bound areas of the Himalayas, they experience denudation and are acidic with low humus content. So here in the Himalayan region, we know very well, most of the time it is covered by snow. So it has humus content only. Okay, and they are acidic also. The soil found in the lower valleys are very fertile. So these forest can be there on the mountain, top of the mountain, near the desert, I have told you. But the soil found in the lower valleys are fertile because it gets water throughout the year. Yes? So though we have lot of forests, the soil found in the lower valleys are fertile. So let us see the laterite soil. So this is called laterite soil. You can see pieces of stones and it is mixed with some soil, all this. This texture you would have seen, this kind of soil you would have seen. So here laterite soil, it is a name taken from the Latin word later, which means brick. Later, according to the Latin word later, which means it is called brick. And it becomes so soft when wet and so hard when dry. Okay, when it is wet, it is so soft. When it is dry, it becomes so hard. Where we can find this laterite soil? We can find this laterite soil in the high temperature areas and high rainfall areas. It is formed because of the leaching. I have told you, no, leaching. Yes, so it is formed because of the leaching. Lime and silica will be leached away from the soil. When it rains in that area, what happens? Or when it is flooded in that area, because of that water content, lime and silica will be leached away, taken away from the soil. And organic matters of the soil also will be removed fast by the bacteria because it has its high temperature, and humus also will be taken quickly by the trees and other plants. So humus content is low in the laterite soil, but it is rich in iron and aluminium. It is rich in iron and aluminium. It is deficient in nitrogen, potassium, lime, humus. The color is red color due to iron oxide because it is rich in iron and aluminium. So again, when the ferrous oxide, due to the ferrous oxide, it gets its red color. That is also called iron oxide. What are the crops can be grown in the laterite soil? Rice, ragi, sugarcane, and cashew nuts are cultivated in the laterite soil. Okay, children, hope you have understood about the laterite soil. Next one, we are going to see about the desert soil. So, okay, desert soil also you know very well how it will be. So here desert soil is also called arid soil because it is seen under arid condition and semi-arid condition. And these soils are deposited mainly by the wind activities because it has low water content or no water content. Because of no water, the soil particles are very loose, so it can be blown away by the wind, and it is shifted from that place because of the wind, and it get deposited in the other places. So this is how the sand is getting shifted from one place to the other place, because there is no water. If water is there, the soil will be tight and it cannot be taken away by the wind. So, and it has high salt content. You would have heard the or like people telling that that is they will say that that sand is that uppu mannu, they will say. Okay, so it has soil content, it is not suitable for growing any crops. Yes, so it lacks moisture and also humus. Kankar or impure calcium carbonate content is high, which restricts the infiltration of water. Even if it rains in that region, before the rain stop, the rainwater will get dried into that, will get soaked into that sand. Okay, after some time, even that rainwater which is soaked into the sand will not be there. So it dried off easily because of the high temperature. Nitrogen is insufficient and phosphate is normal, because you know very well that nitrogen is very much needed for the plants to grow. So that nitrogen is insufficient in this soil. The texture is sandy and color is red to brown. Sometimes it may be red color, means not full red color. Sometimes it is reddish color and it is mostly in brown color. Yes, so these types of soils we have seen, and one more we have to see is the mountain soil. Yes, here let us see, this is the map of the types of soils. You need not draw all these okay, types of soil. I'll just explain to you. The green color, light green color, you can see the pink color, yellow color, everything. So which is given in green color is the mountain soil. Here this light green color, alluvial soil. Here this is red soil areas. So you can see in India most of the places are covered by red soil. This is black soil area. Okay, and this is a laterite soil area, light pink color, laterite soil area. It is very less. And arid soils you can see near the coastal areas, that is especially eastern coastal side. Here you can see that is a desert area. Yes, so sorry children, this arid soil only in the desert region, this area alone. So I will show you one more time here. This is forest soil, alluvial soil, desert soil, red soil, black soil. These are laterite soil. Okay, all these are there. So let us see the next one. Soil erosion and conservation. So you know very well what is soil erosion. Yes, and conservation also you know that. So regarding this topic we will learn it in the next class. It is such a little bit bigger lesson only, so it takes time. So regarding soil erosion and conservation we will learn it in the next class.